It is time. A soft launch for Ask Amy Anything this first week, but I wanted to start it the first week. I know Zach is interested to see how it goes. It will beef up the production, and we're going to continue to connect with you and give you multiple ways to find us so that you can send your questions. But I know we're getting a ton already on the YouTube stream, and Zach have also got some from social. So this is how it normally works. The producer is the one who poses the questions and gets to pick. And I don't always see them ahead of time, though I've got a couple. If you need a pause or a break, I've got a couple that I've seen too. But I'm excited to see how you manage not just asking me the question, but also somehow putting it there on the bottom if if possible. That's multitasking.
It is. I can throw the ones up that we have. I didn't know if I should be on there. I can just voice of God it for this. I like that. But I can throw up the ones that we get, obviously, here in the YouTube studio up there, which I had one that I wanted to ask, and I can't find it now. But you brought up a great one as I'll find the next one, if you want to get started with that one, which is, what was there a big culture shock for you in moving to Texas?
Yeah. Actually, it's kind of funny because I tell people, and I'm honest about this, I've cried over the weather when it was 85 degrees at Christmas time. Even though my family was here, I was still slightly depressed. And then even worse was knowing that where we had just moved from, New Jersey, the New York City area, they got bombarded with my dream winter, which was several feet of snow. I love snow. I grew up in New Hampshire. Snow is my favorite. And if I had to rank the four seasons, probably spring would be one, but winter would be two. Really, summer would be fourth. There are some positive things about summer. I love the beach, but the summers in Texas have been even harder. And in addition to that, okay, so this is a serious business here. Zach, the critters, I don't know how you deal. I've never even seen some of these critters before. Like, for instance, something called a kink. It's something like a combination between a lizard and a snake, and it looks like a snake and it's got feet. But also, not long ago, maybe 2 months ago, we had a tarantula who I'm the one who saw it. No joke. It was 2 feet from our bedroom outside, of course. But we had just done a bunch of yard work, and I come around the side of the house, and I see this very large black thing moving through the grass. Short grass. Could you imagine if I had stepped on it? I don't go outside with flip-flops on. My husband does, and I think he's uber brave. But yeah, a tarantula that my husband had to scoop up with a bucket. That thing kept climbing to the top of the bucket and jumping out. It was so ginormous. Exactly. I'm not kidding. It was legs at least 4 feet long. I mean, it scared the crap out of me. But also, I swear we have a family of little geckos that live in our house, because every other day I feel like I either see, and they're tiny. They look like a leaf or a piece of, I don't know, grass on the ground. Mm-hmm. They are so small. I don't know how they get in the house, but we've got multiple ones that we found either dead. So last night, somehow my husband found one right next to where I put my feet on the floor when I get out of bed. Little teeny gecko. So there have been geckos. There's so many different flying bugs. It's not just wasps or bees. There's something called dirt dumpers or
dirt daubers.
Those things. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's crazy.
Those are harmless, though, thankfully.
Okay. Well, I don't know how or where all these species come from, but I've never seen so many bugs in my entire life. It's talk about culture shock. I really needed to be cold so that all the bugs get wiped out.
Oh, well, no, that's the hope. We always hope that during the winter it gets cold enough to freeze so it kills all the mosquitoes for the next year. But
yes.
Another one then, and I think that this is just a great kind of transition from one to the other, kind of the same thing, but just about married life in general.
Oh,
is it what you expected?
Oh, parts of it are, but if I'm being honest and I can only go yes or no, probably no is the right answer. And there are a couple reasons for that. First of all, it's better than I expected to have a partner who I can walk through life with. We laugh like hyenas. So that's one of the ways that my husband and I we get through life. And we've gone through a lot. We've moved cross country twice since we've been married, and it's not even been 3 years yet. We've gone through a lot of tough things, like he lost his dad, and we've each had people that we've lost in our lives, and just the changes in jobs, and of course me with my culture shock and my crying. So there are a lot of tough things that we've gone through, but also just laughing and bonding over what's for dinner and movies or Star Wars, and really enjoying setting aside time to have fun too. Has been great to do that with someone. And I lived 30 years on my own, and I always wanted to share my life with someone. So that's been even more of a blessing than I anticipated. But I will also tell you, perfectly honestly, two things that have been a challenge I didn't anticipate. One is that after living alone for all those years, it was an adjustment to have someone in the house all the time. My husband works from home, which is a blessing because we've been able to spend more time together early in our marriage. But I will, and I've told him this, it's not a surprise. But at the beginning, I didn't even know when to call my mom. When do I have time to call my mom or my friends? And also, when do I get that alone time that I used to have whenever I wanted it? Too much of it, of course. And so, funny story, I remember at the beginning, I was kind of lamenting what an adjustment it was to my mother-in-law, and also the fact that the house was a disaster. So we had two homes that we tried to purge and consolidate and fit together, and it was like a slide puzzle for 4 months. I mean, we didn't have the space because I lived in a small house in Jersey and he moved up there. She said to me, well, you can have organization and perfectly neat home, or you can have your husband. It was a great point. Like, I don't want to go back to what I had before when I was single and wishing I was married. So the challenge of just, there's someone here all the time was, I think, not what I expected. And also, I'm not nearly as flexible as I would have thought, right? My stuff in its space and whatever else. So that was an adjustment for me, kind of eye-opening to realize that I actually do like things a certain way. And then the other challenge still, I am a professional communicator, Zach. I am a trained communicator, and somehow it's gotten better, but we can be talking about the same thing we think, and he's got one understanding of it, and I've got a completely different interpretation. So yeah, the communication has been a challenge, but we remind each other we've got the rest of our lives to figure it out, and we embrace that challenge. And so those are two things that I don't think I was expecting, even though people will tell you that men and women don't communicate the same way. Like, I swear, I can say it as plainly as possible, and somehow he comes away with a completely different meaning.
It's just easier the more information that we're given. That's what I'm not going to talk for all men. I'm not going to do that, but I do feel personally, the more information we can have, the better we usually perform with it.
Awesome. Good question, Jeff. Thank you.
Another one, we'll go to Facebook. Where was it? Oh, Jim on Facebook had, who had the biggest effect on your career in radio? Like your radio mentor or some of the broadcasters that you would listen to growing up.
Gotcha. Okay, well,
I'm sorry to add. And
no,
kind
go ahead.
Help form your radio style was there at the end.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, this is a challenging one, and it was when I was younger because I did not have a female mentor, right? I had some amazing guides and people who were in my corner and supported me, but it was never a female who was doing radio. So that was one of the challenges. But I had a mentor slash advisor at Syracuse University when I was there. His name was Don. He had worked in the past in, TV networks, I think CNN. He had actually worked on CNN. And he was such an incredible support system to me. I remember I sat down with him the first week I was on campus for my master's degree, and he asked me, what do you want to do? And I told him, and he said, great, we'll get it done. And he was always such an advocate and believed in me even when I didn't believe in myself. So that he's really the first person that was a guide for me. Second, someone that I listen to on a regular basis. This is not political, okay? This is before I even voted or cared about politics much. But Rush Limbaugh was brilliant at his craft. And because he was on so many affiliates, you turn on any radio station in the middays or when I was in my car, when I, again, younger, wasn't even voting yet, but just loved radio. And Rush was everywhere. And the way that he was so bold and he made no apologies, I'll just reiterate, I had no idea what he was talking about at the time. I couldn't have defined Democrat or Republican or what that meant. But his presence on the radio was so effective. And it's why he was brilliant until the point at which he passed away. So I think that too, like having someone to listen to who he just knew what he wanted to say and he did not apologize for it. As a female, I was more insecure when I was younger in my career. And so that kind of impression that he made on me when I would listen to him was really impactful. And then moving forward, just the last one I'll say, sorry, is when
No, you're fine. I didn't mean to cut you off.
When I left ESPN radio, the reason I did it, this is going back to the end of 2012, is because I had two men who became the best bosses I've ever had, Mark and Eric, and they reached out to me and they asked me, hey, are you willing to join a startup network? We really want you to come work for us. At the time, it was CBS Sports Radio. It turned into Infinity Sports Network. And they said to me, and this is after years of trying to fit into a box and trying to be more like the guys. I actually had an old program director at ESPN Radio who said to me, hey, you shouldn't laugh or smile on the air because as a female, it takes away from your credibility. I mean, that's the kind of advice I was getting. It was back before bosses or companies were willing to take a chance with a female. Mm-hmm. And Mark and Eric said, we do not want you to be like one of the guys. We just want you to be Amy. And I can't tell you how much confidence that gave me in 2013 adjusting to New York City. I never wanted to live or work in New York City, but adjusting to an all new challenge, an all new opportunity, an all new place, and picking up and leaving at that stage in my life when I was in my 30s. And they believed in me and gave me great confidence and just loved me for who I was. And I've never had better bosses than that. So those are some of the few that have shaped my journey, my non-linear journey in this business.
I love that. I have one more then that I think we might be able to get another one after that, but I thought this was a good one too. I'm not going to make you pick just one because I know that can be tough, but the question was the nicest player and or coach you've interacted with. And I know there are probably a couple there. I mean, obviously we've both been in this long enough. There's some that aren't necessarily so much, but then there are some that are very nice and sure. very amicable. Yeah.
That are very generous with their time and are willing to spend some time talking to you and kind of open up a little bit. Okay, so the coach / manager, I would say, for those of you who remember David Shaw when he was at Stanford, he was it is David Shaw, right? Shoot, sometimes when I have to pull, check now too, when I have to pull names out of a hat.
Before Harbaugh, right?
Yes, right. So David Shaw, so he was a football coach, former Stanford University football coach. Now he's with the Lions. He always treated me with great respect, and I remember one of my very first weekends at CBS Sports Radio. I was scared to death, right? Because this is my first time having my own show nationally with my name on it, kind of a thing. And he agreed to come on and tape an interview. And he, again, treated me with not just with respect, like I didn't have to earn his respect, but he was also a guy who, like, right away, gave me credit where he felt like as a female to step into a space that was kind of uncharted territory. He thought, he even said, Maya, are you doing this? And this is going to be great. You're going to knock it out of the park. So it was kind of cool. And of course we talked football, but I remember David Shaw, just the feeling that he left me with, that he didn't treat me any differently. And he included me in the club, if you will. That was one coach that I was very grateful to have as a guest and as someone who, I felt like it was a cool name to start out with. Okay. And then here's another one, a player who I've bonded with, and we've done a few interviews over the course of his career. And even as he's looked past football, these are both from football. I could go on and on, like Hall of Famers in basketball. Ann Myers Drysdale, I've worked with her on games. She's an amazing basketball figure, and she's also been so great to come on shows with me, and I worked with her on play-by-play. But then Rodney Peete, who's a running back with the Eagles. He's been very open. Also, we've talked business, which has been kind of fun, and we've encouraged each other. And as I've made moves, he's reached out on social media to say, hey, congratulations. And so that's been a lot of fun too. And I think also Gonzaga basketball, they've been great. Some of the guys that I've talked to there, I've just really enjoyed establishing relationships and networking with people. And I hope that those connections and networks will benefit us here on this show too, as we start to reach out to other guests in the sports industry.
No, absolutely. So I love those as options. I didn't know if you wanted to. We got like 2 minutes till the top of
Okay.
the hour.
So I see on
If
Twitter
there's one you
at,
have, yeah.
yeah, at A-Law Radio, Casey writes and says, "Hey, I was searching for the show on the Apple Podcast, but couldn't find it. Isn't on there yet." Yes. Well, no. The answer is no, it's not on there yet, but we are working on it. And I do appreciate that you actually reached out and asked. And I know some of you have asked with the comments too on YouTube, just because we didn't even realize it was an issue. And so now that we know,
We're fixing it.
Yeah, we tried to search for it this morning too here in our house. And it actually, we realized that we couldn't get it there either. And so yeah, so that's another thing we're working on this first week of working out kinks. Here's one more, and I don't know if you see it on the YouTube comment section over there, but it's from Jesse, going back to about 30 minutes ago or so, and he says, "Will there be any nerd alerts?" Okay, for those of you who know me or have listened to my show in the past, this is how you have to pronounce it. Nerd alert! You've got to yell it. And what it is some quirky stat or some obscure number that really paints a picture. So Jesse, yes, I don't want to bombard Zach with all this different production and stuff, but absolutely. I love being a nerd. Nerds are cool these days. And not only are there analytics nerds, but they're nerds like me who, like, for instance, Star Wars nerd. I love to play Star Wars Trivial Pursuit. I actually asked for that game for my birthday. My husband got it for me. So whatever you're nerdy about, whatever gets you geeked up, whatever gives you a burst of energy. Oh yeah, we love being nerds here together on, like, so I would think that Zach would be a comic book nerd, right? That's you?
That's a very good, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Very cool. So yeah, let's be nerds together. Yes, Jesse, thank you for asking. There will in fact be nerd alerts as we get closer to football season, because that's important.
Can I add just one more thing that adds to our conversation from earlier? And I have to thank Bonnie for this, because I didn't know that was a thing. Apparently there's just a website or an app that I could have used the whole time to find the best time to just leave. No?
No, put it back up there so people can see this.
Yeah.
There's an app called RunPee, meaning like you put the movie title in it, it tells you the best time to sneak out and go to the bathroom.
I looked this up after she posted it, and what it does is it has like a banner, and it gives you marks, and there's like yellow and green and even red. I'm like, oh, you definitely don't want to go here. But like, so I went and I looked, and like one of them, and I don't feel like this is going to be a big spoiler, because I was like, well, what movie did I go see? We were talking about the Odyssey, and yeah, it has a green chunk where it's like, oh, this is just a battle. Like, it's, you're just going to miss fighting if you go then. And it has like a countdown between the next time you should be able to go.
Well, so funny story. I know we're going a little long, but funny story. When my nieces were young, they desperately wanted me to take them to see Cars in theater. So, okay, this goes back a few years. Well, to this day, because my younger niece, Lauren, was all about her popcorn and soda, and, she was, I don't know, 5, maybe 4 or 5, and she consumed the soda like it was going out of style. And so just as they're going to the final race in that movie, she has to go to the bathroom. Auntie Amy, please, I have to go pee. I have to go potty. And so I've never seen it. I've actually never seen the final race in Cars. Yeah, because I had to take her. She was 2, and I had to leave my, I think it was 10-year-old niece. And I was like, this was back a few years where maybe it was a little safer, but I said to Deanna, don't move. We'll be right back. And hustled Lauren to the bathroom. But yeah, I've never gone back and seen that final race series from Cars, believe it or not.
Then how do you think Cars ends?
I have no idea, actually. Okay. I mean, I saw the end, but I didn't see the race. So we were back in the theater.
Fair enough.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I kind of got the end result, but didn't get the means or the meat in the middle. Thank you for your questions. Amazing. Looking forward to establishing Ask Amy Anything in the routine every week. We'll do it on Hump Day, but also because I see this over in our YouTube comments, I'm going to throw this up before we wrap here. Sherry says she's in Fort Worth celebrating her 60th birthday by listening listening to the show. So happy birthday to you, Sherry. We're big time fans of birthday parties and birthday celebrations in my family. So this is a big milestone. And you know what? It's hard to even survive a year on this planet. So good for you. Congratulations and happy 60th birthday. My mom actually celebrates a milestone this year as well. We'll be celebrating with her with a big kind of family getaway. So I'm looking forward to that. All right. So good to talk to you on this hump day. We're working our way through it. Thanks for joining us all in with Amy Lawrence here on YouTube and Rogue Media Network.